All right, a few more seconds. Okay, we're live.
All right, good evening and welcome to this month's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. This is an 8-member panel appointed by the City of South Fulton Mayor and Council to hold public hearings to make recommendations on zonings, use permits, and concurrent variances applications, comprehensive land use plan maps, and amendments to the zoning resolution. Citizens may speak for or against a zoning issue, and each side will have up to 10 minutes total to present its case. Tonight's virtual meeting, citizens may enter their comments and questions in the YouTube chat or email cityofsouthfultonga.gov. The Planning Commission's recommendations will be forwarded to the city's mayor and council for final decision on the fourth Tuesday of next month. And we will proceed to the items on the agenda. We call this meeting to order and we ask staff to call the roll at this time.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Great. Alvin Reynolds,
Present.
Janine Brown,
Present.
Rodney Hadley, Reverend Sharon Jones, Janai Walters, Rachel Williams,
Present.
Shatika Floyd,
Present.
Tamika Weatherly,
Present.
and Shannon Jones. I thought I saw him on, he got admitted.
I think his mic.
I'm present. Could you hear me?
Now I can. Great. Thank you. All right, Sir Chairman, you do have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we will move forward with the approval of last month's meeting minutes, Tuesday, March 16, 2021. Hoping all board members had a chance to read and go over those minutes. And at this time, we will attain a motion for approval of those minutes.
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Has been properly moved and second. Is any discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call a roll call vote, please?
Yes, I can. Commissioner Brown,
Yes. I
okay.
forgot the word I'm supposed to say. Oh my goodness.
Commissioner Hadley, absent. Commissioner Jones,
Okay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yes.
It is unanimous for approval.
Thank you, sir. Item number 4, old business. Old business is our public comment for each case. Again, this is public hearing to consider petition Z21-002, Campbell Drive, a request to rezone from AG1 to M1. Staff, is the petitioner online?
Yes, we are ready to go.
All right, sir, it's yours.
Marissa, if you do me a favor and flip back 2 slides quickly, I just want to reiterate that information for the entire internet as I tend to do. One more, please. All right, thank you so much. Again, as always, comments on tonight's cases can be sent to the planning email address, which is on your screen. I know that it was already read, but I'm going to read it one more time just to be sure. planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov. Don't forget the GA. Everybody always does. We're not going to read comments in the YouTube chat. The next council zoning hearing is on May 11th, Tuesday, May 11th. That is just for a hearing. The vote will be 2 weeks later. The next planning commission meeting right now is on June 15th. There is no May planning commission meeting because there are no June council meetings pending any 1-month deferrals tonight. There are no new cases for any planning commission meeting in May, just for everyone to know that. Now we can go to the first meeting. or the first case rather. All right, Z21002, rezoning at 0 Campbell Drive, and this case has been deferred from previous meetings, and we'll hear it tonight. Next slide, please. Here, the petitioner is requesting a rezoning from AG1 to M1 for the purpose of constructing a warehouse. The property is surrounded on 3 sides by industrial parcels in Union City. So there has been coordination between staff and the petitioner and Union City on this project in order to show buffering and to minimize any effects of the development on residents. That said, the proposal is not in compliance with the future land use map. So staff recommendation on this case is for denial. We can go to the next slide, please. You can see here on the map, the parcel is basically right in the center of the screen, some of that green space. You'll see the property to the north on this map is in Union City, and on the south, east, and west is South Fulton. And we can go to the next slide. And some of these slides may help explain the topography, or not topography, but the layout of this parcel. You'll see on these 2 maps, on the left is the zoning, on the right is the future land use. You will see the parcel outlined in blue, and you'll see that it is surrounded by, I'm sorry, thank you. I'm being corrected to say it's in East Point, not Union City. I apologize for that. So you can see on the maps here, the parcel is surrounded by property that is in the adjacent municipality. So it is zoned differently and developed differently in East Point, surrounding the one parcel in South Fulton. We can go to the next slide, please. You'll see on this map is a proposed layout of the site. In the red outlined area, that is the parcel that would be in South Fulton. I will point out here that there is the back of the warehouse and employee parking would be adjacent to the residences in South Fulton. And I will say that there will be no truck access to this site from South Fulton. All truck access would be from East Point. And we can go to the next slide. I believe there's one other map of this parcel, or this development rather. And so we can see here buffering against or proposed buffering against the residential areas in South Fulton, employee parking backing up to the residences in South Fulton in the back of the warehouses. You see no access again from the city of South Fulton at all. All trucks will leave through East Point to get to, I believe, ultimately 285. And this concludes the staff presentation, and I believe that the petitioner is on the call tonight.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm Lauren Clayton. I'm with Wilson, Brock, and Irby. I'm here on behalf of Hardy Real Estate. Nathan, as always, does a good job introducing, so that cuts down some of the stuff I need to show you. But if you guys wouldn't mind letting me share screen. Perfect. Let me just get to, okay. So this project, the beginning of this project goes all the way back to last summer when we had a meeting on the site with the 2 ward council people for the city of East Point, and also council member Helen Willis for city of South Fulton. We also had Miss Pamela Harvey, who I think had some comments that she sent over. And we walked the site and we talked about buffers. We took a look at site. We showed them the topography. We went around here to the residential subdivision to show them proximity and what our plans were in terms of buffering. And then subsequently had a community meeting that the council member was on, spoke to all the folks that came that live in that subdivision. My understanding is that one of the people who lives absolutely the closest to this is quite comfortable with what we proposed, and there's been some work with the city of East Point to accommodate the South Fulton residents, and I think there has been some collaboration between city of South Fulton staff and city of East Point staff. I know this was deferred a few times. One of the reasons was because there was a conversation about de-annexation or annexation. It was later determined that that was perhaps too complicated to move forward. One of the more simple ways we've done this in the past is to do a lot consolidation and then an intergovernmental agreement for the purposes of permitting. So that's something that will ultimately be proposed down the road with both jurisdictions. So this is our landscape site plan. And then I just want to show you guys So these are the buffer sections that we had proposed and showed to the community with respect to their properties. And I have the hardest time moving my Zoom around while trying to look at the screen. So here you see you've got a buffer here. That's buffer C down here. And you've got 52 feet plus another 52 feet of undisturbed and a 54-foot landscape buffer with section B, which is up here. You've also got a very large undisturbed buffer and then a 42-foot landscape buffer proposed. Actually, it's 52 feet, excuse me. And then section A down here, you've got a 50-foot proposed undisturbed buffer, and then you've got 40 feet of landscape buffer. Now, on that note, I just wanted to show you guys. So this is what we worked out with East Point staff. This was what was approved at the East Point Planning and Zoning Commission. And some of the conversations we've had with the residents in South Fulton and the council member have been incorporated into these conditions. We've got to have at least a 50-foot undisturbed buffer. Obviously following the design guidelines of the BP zoning classification in East Point, which is a business park. Restriction of any tractor trailer parking or loading along the western boundary of the site. So that's what I just showed you where those buffers are. There will not be tractor trailers. They will be on the back of the building. And we will use downcast lighting. There will be no more than 2 warehouse facilities. As you saw on the map they showed you, this is the South Fulton parcel, but the East Point Planning Commission restricted us to what you see here. There will also be, this was of tremendous concern to the neighbors in South Fulton, there will be no ingress and egress on the south side of Campbell Drive. As you can see on this site plan, what this is right here is essentially where Campbell Drive is and where it used to come through here. Part of this was abandoned by the city of East Point for this property owner. And now, as you can see right here, it just dead ends right here. There's not even a road. So the building will be sitting on top of that. And that was important to folks because obviously they didn't want any traffic coming through. So all traffic will come through off North Commerce Drive. As most of you know, right here to the north is the Duke Business Center. And what we're proposing here will look substantially similar to what you've got up here with Duke. So the folks would come drive down North Commerce Drive to get back up to the interstate. They would hop up here, get on Washington Road, and immediately on 285. We also have significant landscaping requirements in addition to the buffer sizes, which include rows of Leland cypress and very large trees staggered on center. And so the arborists will work with us on that in the city of East Point. And so I just wanted to show you one thing because, this is something we talked to staff about and understand their position, of course, because of policy. But this is the city of East Point future land use map. And so this is the Duke Business Park up here. These are our 2 largest parcels, which were already zoned industrial in the city of East Point. So the BP really would be a down zoning from that, but we wanted a comprehensive development plan on this site. And so you see this little cutout right here is the South Fulton piece. And so the future land use map for East Point, the plan was to kind of concentrate this stuff here. And this is the southernmost point that you can continue the business park. So this is sort of the continuation and the end of that business park. Like I said, I think that the comfort level of the folks who live in the adjacent subdivision is good. I think that we've had nice conversations. I haven't heard any concerns about it. There was one woman on the neighbor call that we set up that had some concerns about proximity. My client who's on the call, Daniel Hannison, took a trip with her to the site the very next day and they talked about it, and he showed her the distances and the orientation, and I think that made her quite comfortable as well with the project. So we think it's a good quality project. We have the support of East Point on this, and I do believe that the council person for City of South Fulton is also satisfied with our efforts with the community. That's all I have right now.
All right, thank you so much. I guess at this time we will open it up for public comment. can we get a motion to open public comment?
A motion that we open it up for public comment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and second, and public comment will now begin. Staff, am I correct in hearing that we would not be reading any questions from the public?
From the YouTube chat, we had not intended to read those in. If there are actual questions, we can go ahead and read those. What has happened in the past that we've just been reading conversations between participants in. So if there are some actual questions in the chat, Marissa, you can read some of those. But if I would say this, if someone has a question to YouTube, please say your actual name and address and not just your screen name. If there's any real comments in there. I do have some that have been mailed into me, and we can check the planning email address also.
So the planning email address does not have any comments for this petition.
Let me check. Let's see, Mr. Reynolds, Ms. Harvey sent us some emails, you and me some emails. I want to make sure that I pose the questions that were, or the comments that were stated in her. She sent one today. This is Ms. Pamela Harvey, sent an email to us today with a concern about the 18-wheelers on the City of South Fulton side, but I know that there will be, there shouldn't be any 18-wheelers on the City of South Fulton side given the layout of the property, or layout of the project. So I don't see that there's any concern with 18-wheelers back there, that there will be landscaping there. I don't have any, see if I have any other ones from her about this case.
Okay, yeah, she did send over some emails and had various concerns about this development. One of the things that I know she was speaking of, and I would like to address as well, when you talk about the buffers and so forth, how much of the wetland back there is going to be disturbed?
None.
None. Now, am I?
They can't build, and that's state and federal issues. Those are not touched.
Okay, great. Now, am I, and if anyone has this answer, is there any, I guess, sewer pump stations in this area that's being developed?
I'm not aware of any in South Fulton.
Okay. All right. All right, board, you have any other questions?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Sure.
sir, Mr. Jones.
I'm having problems with that thing. I think it's like a roll call.
Mr. Jones, we can't hear you.
All right, he's muted now.
If you could type your comments in the chat, Mr. Jones, we could read them out there.
This is Commissioner Brown. I have a question. Do we already have, is there already a tenant identified for this addition?
There is not yet.
Okay. So I think, so the staff has denied, has said not to move forward simply because of our land use, but we have a small portion of this, if I'm understanding this correct, that will bleed over into the City of South Fulton. Do we know how large is that piece compared to what's actually, from a square foot standpoint, compared to what's actually in East Point?
It's roughly 5 acres, which represents about 8% of the this overall development plan.
Okay, so only 5 acres are in the City of South Fulton compared to the overall.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Jones, I did see that you were stating that we did not do a roll call vote to open public comment. And I'm sorry for that omission. Would we have to go through that, or can we continue? Dana?
We should go ahead and do that vote just to cover our bases.
All right. All right. Staff, can you do the roll call vote?
Dana, would you please?
Look like he's muted.
Sorry about that. Commissioner Brown,
Yeah, yay.
Commissioner Jones. I guess you'll have to type in. I just admitted,
Giving us
re-admitted
a
him.
thumbs up on the screen.
Thumbs up, excellent. Commissioner Williams,
Yeah.
great. Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly,
Yes.
the vote passes to open public comment.
All right, we will proceed with public comment. Ms. Brown, were you finished or would you care to continue?
I think I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else from the board has any questions? I would like to say that I think it is imperative and important that we do adhere to our land use plans, and that we have to set a precedence when it comes to that and not overlook it really by any means, because if we start to do so, you know, we can start to put ourselves in a precarious position down the line moving forward. I just wanted to make that note. Is anyone else?
I was actually thinking the same thing. That's why I asked about the amount of square footage. Because if you say, we say, oh, it's only, 50 square feet here, but it's 51 somewhere else in the city. I feel more comfortable letting the city council make that decision than us making that decision.
Okay. So once again, we will, if there aren't any more questions, are there any questions for the petitioner?
Nothing came in that I saw in the planning email address, and we were given the instructions to not read from the YouTube chat, so we're gonna have to hold to that. But again, if there's any questions or comments, please send them to the planning email address.
And the planning email address, we will be reading those out loud on this Zoom call. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct.
Okay, got you. And as far as we're moving now, there aren't any in that particular email site?
Correct. I don't see any. I'm looking right now. I don't see any in it. I don't know if Dana or Marissa saw it and saw any earlier, but I don't have any that I see.
No.
So we've only received one person to send a message in that that Chairman Reynolds was referring to in his comments. Is that the only thing?
I'm scrolling back through the past and seeing if there's other ones here. But let's see here. All right, I have one from Brenda Miller on March 8th. She says that she lives in the city of South Fulton and would request to vote no for the warehouse to be built on Campbell Street.
You're back.
Some of these comments might have gotten mixed in with. I have a feeling that people may have sent in comments over the past couple of months and grouped their comments about several cases together.
Okay. Okay. All right. If there aren't any more questions or comments moving forward, we'll take a vote to close public comment.
Let me say this, I have one from Yoshina Colbert Bradford on February 19th to vote no on Z 2005, 2021-002. That's the last one I see right now.
Okay, and there are none from you, Dana?
No, there aren't. No.
Let me add one more that I see. I apologize. I have one from Gloria Williams on February 18th. She says, hello, as a resident in District 2 residing at 7512 Cole Lane, Atlanta, Georgia 30349. I oppose the following zoning case, Z21-002. She says, vote no. Instead of a warehouse, we need professional office, medical facilities, healthier, non-fast food restaurants.
Does that conclude?
Yeah, those are the ones that I see.
All right. And can we move forward with the vote to close public comment, please?
A motion that we close public comment.
Is there a second?
Shatika Floyd, I second.
It's been properly moved in second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. Staff, please.
Okay, Commissioner Brown?
Nay.
Okay.
This is the vote to close public hearing.
It's the vote to close
Okay.
public comment.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all gotta be clear now. Although I made the motion, right? Yay.
Commissioner Jones?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Commissioner Williams? Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd?
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly?
Yes.
That vote passes to close public hearing,
Okay, public comment is now closed and,
public
all
comment, sorry.
right, public comment is now closed. I guess we will move forward and entertain in a motion to either defer or approve or deny this particular petition. Is there a motion? Should I repeat that? Board members.
Good evening, it's Commissioner Weatherly. Yes, will you repeat that?
Yeah, I was saying that we would move into a motion to defer, deny, or approve this petition. I was opening up for a vote.
I have a question.
Questions on the floor?
The defer, can you explain what that would do if we defer this? Is this deferring it to another month or pushing this up to the city council?
Yes, it would be to defer to next month's session and
Yeah.
pending more investigations or, for more information dealing with this particular petition.
This is Commissioner Weatherly. I make a motion to deny the petition.
Is there a second? Without a second, staff would that motion fail or?
Yes, it would. You can make any other motion you want. You can make the
Okay.
same motion again if you want, but that one has failed.
Okay. All right, the motion is still stands on the floor. I guess this is a hard one.
This is a hard one.
With that, hoping I can say, it may be to take in consideration to defer it since
I will say that this one was deferred twice already.
it's been
Yeah.
deferred twice already.
And we don't have another meeting until June.
That is correct.
And it is a tough one. And I hope that, the residents who are watching and the petitioner understands why, right? We've been talking about this future land use map and wanting to hold true to it. And then when you think about holding true to it, and the majority of this property is actually in the city of East Point, the residents who are most affected by it appear, from what we've been told, to be in favor of the future construction of this site. I know we've had a significant amount of conversations about warehouses in the city of South Fulton, right? We are now the warehouse capital of Georgia, it feels like. So, especially with the annexation of South Fulton Parkway. So that's why it is, to your point, Chairman Reynolds, it is a tough decision to make. But I think we also know that the final decision does not lie with this planning commission. So I think we can move forward on a vote. And the city council will actually determine if they want to override what our decision is.
And with that being said, is there a motion on the floor? It was a motion on the floor. Now we're looking for another motion. First motion was denied. I'm sorry, the first motion failed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're entertaining a second motion.
So I'll make a motion that we deny the zoning of this property, the rezoning of this property.
Is there a second?
This is Shatika Floyd, I'll second the motion.
Been properly moved in second. Any more discussion? All in favor, staff, would you roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Jones,
He gave a thumbs up.
great, thank you. Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
The vote passes unanimously to deny this rezoning petition.
All right, thank you, staff.
Have a good night,
night.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Next item on the agenda is new business, and that brings us to public hearing to consider petition Z21-003. Staff, you have the floor.
Yeah, as you said, this is case Z21-003, a rezoning at 4295 and 4301 Roosevelt Highway. Go to the next slide, please. The petition here is requesting to rezone from C1 and AG1 to M2 heavy industrial. No new development at this time. And I assure the board and anyone watching that once we show some pictures and maps, it will make a lot more sense. But there are multiple parcels here. They are all but under one ownership, one business. There just happens to be several zoning designations on this site. It is in an industrial area surrounded by industrial zoning. The request complies with the future land use map, and the staff recommendation is for approval with some conditions on the architectural details of any future construction. We can go to the next slide, please. And so this collection of parcels are in the very center of your screen with some frontage on Roosevelt Highway at the pin, and then going back to the development in the upper middle of the screen. We can go to the next slide, please. You'll see here on the left is the GIS on the site. You'll see it is the very center of the screen with a black dot. There are some parcels zoned M2, some C2, and up in the very middle, some AG1. Those are the properties in question. You'll see on the right, the future land use map has it all zoned as an industrial area. You can go to the next slide, please. This is the plat of all the properties in question, and you will see that it is very irregularly shaped. And so that is why and because of that, and because of the different zoning designations on the property, is why the petitioner was asking for one simplified type of zoning over the whole property. The conditions that we requested for the property include some material type for construction, and that the construction that happened facing Roosevelt Highway only be used for offices and a showroom, and that all manufacturing remain in the back of the property off the roadway. And that concludes the staff report, and I believe the petitioner is on the call.
Thank you, staff. If we would hear from the petitioner Before we do that, let's open up the floor for public comment. Is there a motion to open public comment?
This is Commissioner Brown. I'll make a motion to open public comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Been properly moved in second. Been properly moved in second. Staff, can you call the roll vote, please?
Yes, Commissioner Brown,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones? Do you have a thumbs up?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Commissioner Williams? Commissioner Floyd?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Floyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Weatherly?
Yes.
That vote passes to open public comment.
Thank you, sir. The petitioner, you are now have the floor.
Hi, this is Daryl Cook. Hope you guys can hear me. I'm working with Watson Browning Engineers on behalf of the owner, Charles Steffens. He's with us as well. And I think the staff did a good job of kind of saying what we want to do here. And that's basically just, one zoning of the entire group of parcels that will eventually probably at some point be put together as one. But right now we're good with going to the M2 zoning. And as far as the staff consideration and their, number 2 of their conditions of zoning, the use of materials for the exterior of the building that we would propose up front. We think we're fine with most everything in both 1 and 2, but in 2, we would like to be able to have some steel exposed as well. This is a steel, not manufacturing, but they use steel to do their buildings and whatnot, and they would like to showcase some of that material as well, potentially on the exterior of the building as well as interior. So we're just asking for a little relief on that. There's some beautiful buildings throughout Atlanta that have a lot of exposed steel, and we're just asking to let that be also something that can be used for the building, again, because it's what they do. Chuck, do you have any questions or anything to add to that? Chuck, are you able to get on?
Yes, I'm here now. Sorry. Yeah, this is Charles Staffens. On the property since 2005. We're a metal fabricator, fabricate stairs, rails, fences, gates, do ornamental work, do structural steel throughout the Southeast. And as our building grows, we're needing to expand into a nicer office. And the office that we're proposing is going to be a nice facility. The idea is to we're great with the glass and the brick, like you guys have proposed. We do see buildings sometimes that might have some exposed steel to the outside of beams or columns, and it's a very tasteful look. And I think it would fit, what we do, and also help us showcase our business as we continue to grow.
Dana, did any comments come in support?
Let me just check here. No comments.
Okay, I think if it's okay with the chair, we can move. I have a few, a comment or two that are against.
That would be fine, sir. Go right ahead.
I have an email from Miss Pamela Harvey, sent Wednesday, 4/14. I will try and paraphrase as best I can to get all the points in. It's long. She said, vote no to this petition. Owners are requesting this area be rezoned M2 so they can add parking lots, more buildings, and the destruction of trees and more industrial waste to a naturally beautiful wilderness area. We don't need this sort of thing, especially in District 3. We do not need more warehouses, hazardous waste, and the destruction of our beautiful trees. Area zoned M1, C2, and M2. The additional parcels the owners want zoned M2. She has some pictures she included. She says the entrance has a beautiful, what looks to be a wrought iron fence. The area is perfect for a park with tree streets. We want to clean up this area and make it whole again. She says the residents and Councilwoman Willis are trying to renovate this area since Roosevelt Highway is the main artery to the city of South Fulton from College Park and East Point. Every time I drive down Roosevelt Highway, I see car graveyards, tire shops, gas stations every 2 miles, chop shops, etc. She says it's pitiful. We want to revitalize this area before it's completely destroyed. They want to take down a bunch of trees at 4295 Roosevelt Highway and build a parking lot. That's what she says in that email.
Okay, was there another one?
Dana, do you see any scrolling through the planning email address?
No, I
Planning
don't.
inbox rather?
No.
I don't either in any of those because this is a newer one. Yeah, I don't see any in the planning inbox either.
Okay. This area is not within a district overlay area. Am I correct?
Correct. If we go back to the zoning map, Marissa, could you just scroll backwards for us? Yes, there's no overlay on the zoning map in this area.
Okay.
It's public.
And, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead, Chair.
No, I was just going to ask the petitioner, they're still online?
I'm here, yes.
Okay, thank you. I was, wanted to ask them just how many trees were they planning on removing to develop this area? Will there be a total loss of trees on the Roosevelt Highway side?
Daryl, are you still on there?
Yes, I am. And no, we believe we will have quite a few trees that will be preserved out there. It's certainly not going to be a scorched earth when we do any development on this property. There'll still be, buffers and opportunities for landscaping and whatnot as well. But no, we don't have a count per se, but there will be trees that will be preserved in this as well. We don't foresee that we're going to take everything down and, here's this shiny building. So no, I think it's a benefit to save some of these trees as well, if not, a good portion of them.
Has there been any environmental studies done?
We have had an environmental consultant walk the property, get to know the property. They've identified in the back part of the property some areas that would show up as a stream or a wetland area, and we're avoiding those areas with our plan.
Okay, and that was my next question. Were we going to be disturbing any streams or buffers?
None planned.
Okay, none planned. Doesn't mean that there may not be.
Yeah,
Well,
no, any development would have to, stay out of any streams. Again, those are state and federal areas, so those wouldn't be allowed to be touched. And any city landscaping requirements and buffering requirements would have to be maintained.
Indeed.
Okay.
Did
Ms.
we
Brown,
have-
you
Will there be, how soon will you have a rendering, like a visual of what the building will look like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Diagram.
Yes, that's the word. Thank you, Dana. A diagram of the proposed space and the building, what it will look like, and the layout of that particular area.
We currently have an architect now that we're working with, that's working on some designs. I think we're trying to understand the building, how it's going to sit on the property before we can finish some of those, but we are working with someone now for some renderings.
Okay.
What is your time frame of constructing this building? This would be facing Roosevelt Highway, correct?
That's correct.
And what's the time frame on that?
I mean, we're not under a strict time frame, but I mean, we would like to get something moving on this, before the end of the year, for sure.
I would say it may be helpful for the board and for council ultimately if you had intentions to move on development by the end of the year, that's great. But if there were renderings available, that may help some of the questions or concerns that the boards respectively might have.
Yeah. Because, congratulations on the growth and being able to stay in South Fulton and grow in the city of South Fulton. We're excited about that. But yeah, I would probably have a lot more comfort if we knew what we were looking at, especially because, if we knew what we were looking at, I think that would be nice to have.
I mean, the staff, I mean, it's going to be a nice building. I mean, it's not, it's going to be probably one of the nicer buildings on Roosevelt Highway. And the staff we're trying to grow with and to attract for our business and in the area, I think is going to be it'll be a good facility. I really do.
Will this be creating new jobs as well in the city?
Absolutely. Not only will we be putting an office, we're planning on doing is to put the office there where our current office is backed by our fabrication facility, which we've outgrown that now. And so we want to obviously put in an office to attract new employees into the facility, along with once we finish that facility, we will be asking to expand our current fabrication facility so that we can obviously keep up with the growth that we're having right now.
And my last question, how many days do you know when your architect will have the drawings ready? Like, will they be within the next 30 days?
I don't have that answer right now but I would say within the next, hopefully within the next 30 to 60 days, I should have something.
Thank you.
Staff, when an application is applied for, and I'm guessing that there isn't a requirement to actually show what the facility would actually look like, even if it's just a sketch.
Right. So when this was submitted, we discussed this and there was no real plan at that point that I was aware of to actually build anything new. And so I like the commissioners have said, I'm very happy to hear that they're building and expanding and the business is doing well, obviously, and we want to be as helpful as possible. But I was not aware there would be architectural drawings available, within 30 to 60 days. It would not be unreasonable to, not that it is our job or duty to, accommodate developers, number one, but if it wouldn't be, catastrophic to the petitioner, if they are able to come back, at our normal scheduled meetings, and if this were to be deferred and you were able to come back with a rendering of the building and some concrete expansion plans, that would certainly help this board, and I know it would help the council. And I would be inclined to say, and I can't speak for them, that the council may, demand that they see some drawings to be included. So that may be something to consider.
All right, thank you. Were there any more questions from the board? All right, hearing none, we can take a motion to close public comment.
A motion to close public comment. This is Shatika Floyd.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Is there not any further discussion? Staff, can you call the vote, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Brown,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yeah.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yes.
The vote passes to close public comment.
Public comment is now closed. We'll open up the floor for a motion to approve, deny, or defer petition Z21-003. Board members, is there a motion on the floor?
This is Commissioner Brown. I'd like to make a motion that we defer the vote on property Z21-003 until we can get, yeah, I just want to defer. I won't even say why.
I believe we need to have an explanation as to why.
Oh, do we? Okay, so that we can have the petitioner provide us with a draft of the renderings of the property.
Is there a second?
A second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, staff, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, roll call vote. Commissioner Brown,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
The vote passes unanimously to defer to the next planning commission meeting.
Thank you, sir. All right, and that brings us to item number 6 on today's agenda, which is adjournment. Is there a motion on the floor to adjourn? Before we entertain that motion, I guess Nathan, I'm sorry, you did state that there was not a meeting next month, so this will be deferred until June.
Yeah, the meeting will be on June 15th. There's no May Planning Commission because there are no June council meetings scheduled.
Okay, all right, that should be allotted time for the petitioner to come up with a rough draft of what the facility would somewhat look like.
Correct.
Okay. All right. All right, now we're entertaining a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
A second.
probably moved in second. Staff, can you call the vote, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yes.
That vote passes to adjourn.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you at the next meeting.
Have a wonderful
Yeah.
night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Night.